So I'm Dr. Emma Kostopoulos. On March 2nd of 2021, I was offered the position of Assistant Professor of English here at Valdosta State University. I'm coming here to Valdosta from Lawrence, Kansas, where I got my PhD at the University of Kansas. It feels like one of those things from like an old movie about like the butterfly effect, where like, you make one small choice different and it just like totally changes the course of your life. Because I had been driving from Kansas all the day before, and I had stopped at a hotel to get a little bit of sleep for the night. And I woke up like an hour earlier than I was supposed to. And I was like, oh, well, I can either just lay in bed for an hour and snooze, or I can get going an hour earlier. And so that meant that I was just in exactly the right place and the right time. I was driving through Atlanta on I-75. Someone else lost control of their vehicle. I actually wasn't even in the first car that they collided with. The car was driving perpendicular to traffic, horizontal across the lanes, and everyone was going, 55, 60 miles an hour. I ended up colliding with kind of the back driver's side door of the car head on. I realized later that I must have blacked out for at least a minute or two, because to me there isn't really a gap in my memory. I remember the collision, I remember the airbag going off, I remember the car spinning and hitting the retaining wall. I didn't really think in those like split seconds before the accident, I didn't really think I was gonna walk away. I managed to get myself and my two cats in their carriers out of the car and walked about 100 feet down the highway past like all three cars in this accident. What happened in the accident was that my left knee smashed into the steering column. Apparently the kneecap was it was not doing okay, and my knee just completely gave. And so I'm suddenly on the ground on the side of the highway. Then they called the ambulance, and EMTs arrive on scene and spend the day in the ER. But my main thing was, I'm in Atlanta. I'm several hours from my new home that I just bought. The only people in the world who, I know really well, who are, who could help me are 10 hours away by car. The concern was, how on earth do I get out of Atlanta? I contacted Donna Sewell, who was the department chair of English at the time. Hey Donna, so this really terrible thing happened to me. Is there like a shuttle or like a bus, right? Because I was like, I'm gonna have to like lug all my stuff onto a Greyhound and like just bus it down to Valdosta, or like I could buy 3 plane tickets, one for me and one for each of the 2 cats, and fly down to Valdosta. Like, what are my options here? Donna kind of puts the word out, right, that this thing has happened to me. Another faculty member and her husband heard this news, and they said, well, let's just go get her. I have trouble discussing or really, because it doesn't feel like you can quantify, right, like that type of human kindness. They picked me up in Atlanta, and not only did I have 2 live cats and carriers, but I had like a duffel bag of clothes. I had an Xbox that I was unwilling to leave in the back of the car when it went to the tow place. And it was just a dozen small kindnesses. You haven't eaten all day. We're gonna stop at a gas station and get you a snack. And it was, your phone is dying because, you've been on your phone since like 6 a.m. Here's a charger, just like little stuff that like you wouldn't maybe even think of in like normal circumstances if you weren't in this really vulnerable position. I just got the sense that stuff Like, stuff is okay now. The moving truck actually arrives at like 11 p.m. that night. And at this point, I can barely walk. You know, and it was this thing where, you know, Donna had told me that like some people were gonna come to, you know, help me move boxes. But I thought it was gonna be, you know, like her and her husband. Like a dozen showed up. Like a dozen people showed up. Like, and it was everybody, right? It was everybody from like, you know, lecturers to like other faculty and their spouses and their children to the dean, like the dean of the college, who, you know, I thought wasn't really gonna be in a position to notice me for a while getting here, but like the dean of the college showed up in a baseball cap and was moving boxes into my house. And then people were, you know, doing stuff like, oh, this piece of furniture needs to be assembled. We'll just go ahead and do that now. And what I kept hearing was just, you know, pay it forward. Like, when the next person shows up to VSU, like, you're gonna be moving their boxes. Pay it forward. That's the culture, is to just pay it forward. They made sure that I knew that they wanted me here, that they cared about me, that they were happy I was here, and that they wanted to like know me and help me. So, I mean, just thank you. Thank you to everyone.
I want people to love this school the way that I love this school and to have the experience that I've been blessed to have. That's been such a drive for me, to be able to serve one another and do it for my school.
Well, there's a lot more to this class than sitting in a classroom, going through PowerPoint slides and taking multiple choice quizzes. It involves getting out of your comfort zone with a sense of adventure. I think that if you really love something, it's an adventure.
I'm doing everything not just for me and my teammates and my family, I'm doing it for where I come from.
Be better than your best. Yes. That's what you got the chance to do, okay? Yes. You got this, okay?
You will leave with something that perhaps you didn't know before. And that's what knowledge is all about.
We show every day unending drive to be the champions that we have time and time again proven we uniquely know how to be. Good luck, stay safe, and go Blazers.